for a little while because it seems to them to be the better route for them than to be able to just tell the adults what's happening to them.
Let's talk about. I want to do Marjorie Taylor Green right quick and not spend much time on that. And then I want to go
Yeah,
into Putin's State of the Union because
yeah.
that one is the one I really want to cover. Let's do this right
Let's do
quick.
this.
Stupid economic decision. And again, the whole irony of this is you've got Republicans who oppose kind of almost every kind of spending, who are the biggest beneficiaries of the federal spending that they oppose. Terrible idea for everyone in those red states.
Already.
A national divorce is not a civil war. It's actually separating by red states and blue states.
If this hypothetical were to happen, and Marjorie Taylor Green were to get her wish, and these states were to secede, what are some of the practical, real-world impacts it would have on those states?
Yeah, they would have huge sort of deficits, economic deficits. They wouldn't have money for their projects. They wouldn't have new bridges. They wouldn't have federal installations in their districts. They wouldn't have food stamps, and they wouldn't have Medicaid to help cushion their residents against pretty extreme poverty. It would be a really tough and stupid economic decision. And again, the whole irony of this is you've got oppose kind of almost every kind of federal spending, who are the biggest beneficiaries of the federal spending that they oppose. Terrible idea for everyone in those red states.
Already.
A national divorce is not a civil war. It's actually separating by red states and blue states.
Okay, it was a really short clip of Marjorie Taylor. It's kind of unfair,
Well,
but just saying this. Go ahead.
well, I don't know. I mean, I say that because for what she actually said is true. Like, it doesn't mean that it has to be a civil war that they split up. But I mean, he's talking about the money's being separated. Well, the states, if they separate from, if they do separate, they're just not going to be paying taxes, giving money to the federal government to break up, for them to break up and give it out how they want to. Like they'll take in whatever taxes they do, which would probably be more like what they've been talking about on the consumption side. So that they get just like
So
Texas,
then,
like Texas.
so then, what happens when they have like have to declare a national emergency type deal when they need federal dollars like FEMA or something like that, a hurricane, something like that, a major event where they need federal dollars. And what about the big programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security? So this
We'll
is
see that.
this is what's happening. They're really attacking, and I've been saying this for a little while now. They coming for Social Security. They're coming for Medicaid and Medicare. I got a clip on that somewhere, but where they're acting like they're not coming for these programs, but they're calling them, what do they call them? Entitlement programs is what they're calling them. They're like, we have to get control of these entitlement programs, and then the whole thing with the debt ceiling, that fight is coming, and they're gonna, this is what they're gonna use. They're gonna say, okay, we gotta get control of our spending. We have to be fiscally responsible. So then Social Security is too fat and too bloated, and we need to make sure that the right people are getting Social Security, and means tested or whatever the hell bullshit they always say. But they just want to fucking cut that shit.
Well, the thing is, I think that based on how the spending is, can determine on, whether or not you can, we can afford to have regular life, because if we can have, because a bunch of us have insurance, some of us don't. I mean, we can figure out a way that those people who do not have a way to be able to see a doctor, this, that, and the other. The main thing is there's a big conflict on these different states, whether you want to say Democratic, Republican, conservative, liberal, however you want to look at it. There's been a big conflict on how the spending should be, how these dollars should be spent, and it's just a continuous fight. Like with things that the way that things are going
Can you
now,
show what that
it's
was for?
more likely for it to be a civil war because it's just a consistent conflict. So I mean, is that what she's offering? The idea she's offered, is it the solution? I don't know, but maybe not. But at the same time, we got to really look at the fact that some of these, like we have to become more agreeable with just simple things. I mean, it's like if health is the important thing. Let's all agree, whether you're a liberal, that we need to take care of some core issues first, then for us to be like, okay, you know my thing is more important here because I want this and I want. Okay, everybody wants stuff, but what do everybody need? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but
That's what.
look, the bipartisan part where the majority of the money is going to is the military industrial complex, sending
Yeah,
this money to Ukraine and all of that. And I mean the Republicans are pushing back a little bit on that, but that's for the most part bipartisan, man. And all the money for the military spending, like we spend more money, that's the biggest, hugest chunk of the freaking budget right there. We got military bases all over the damn world. We got this bloated ass freaking military budget. If we
mhm.
really care about being fiscally responsible, then that's the first place to look is where we're spending the most money. But that's not where anybody even talking about any cuts. They actually been increasing it year over year, like we're
Well,
at.
there are people that's talking about it, but you don't hear it because that's not the narrative that they want to go out there. They want everybody to believe that we need all this because I mean, if we weren't the ones that was poking the bear all the time, we wouldn't have to be on defense mode as much. Like if we actually focus on things here, build ourselves up, maybe produce some stuff where we're not so reliant on other countries, or even like we could do so much right over here on the Western Hemisphere, where even the Eastern Hemisphere could be doing things on their own. We could share what we can, and the other things is just
Yeah, but like I say, it's bipartisan because it's all about imperialism, and then it goes back to the corporations, okay?
Hold
Because
on,
there's a
we lost Pat.
okay, it's about imperialism. The corporations are the ones that benefit from this because getting the resources from all of these different places around the world, and the corporations benefiting from it. So then that's the reason why it's bipartisan. The big, huge military budget is because we get to continue to get our private companies to go wherever and extort these resources and use them for private companies so that we can make money. It's imperialism, and so nobody has a problem with that because we've been brainwashed that it's all about the corporations, and it's like if the corporations hurt, then we hurt as Americans, and if the corporations do well, then we do well as Americans, because it's like they always say more jobs and so forth and so on. You know, so that's a fight that's like impossible because it's ingrained in us that um, imperialism is good. You know, the trickle down economics. King Chuck ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. Anyways, the name of the show is Take